Hello and welcome to JV's IAS. Today we are going to discuss what type of questions have been asked in prelims examination 2020 with respect to economics. So most of the students, when it comes to economics as a subject, when we prepare for prelims or mains examination, they are very much confused that how should we prepare, how should we move forward, what newspaper they have to refer to, what type of book they have to refer. Either they have to go for Sanjeev Verma, they have to go for Ramesh Singh or Uma Kapila, or they just have to follow the current affair magazines, or they just have to follow the newspaper. So in this lesson, I am going to answer all of your doubts which have been asked to me through various emails and messages. So let's start with the session first. But before we start with the session here, I would like to make an important announcement with respect to JV's IAS courses, which are currently available on application as well as the internet. So if you will use my this code Rishabh007, you will be able to avail 40% discount on any course which you will be buying. Suppose the cost of the course is around 80,000 rupees, then you minus 40% of the cost. Very simple it is, and you will be able to garner 40% discount here. Now say 80,000 rupees, and what will be the 40% discount? It is around 32,000 rupees, right? So the course which is priced at 80,000 rupees, you will be getting at 48,000 rupees. So this is the benefit of using my code here. But this is not yet, this is not the end. I will be also teaching you social issues as well as the agriculture. So I will be taking around 20 to 25 classes in this course as well. And rest of the details are already on website, that which teacher, which faculty will be teaching what subject here. So let's come to the questions which have been asked in prelims examination in 2020 when it comes to economics. So the first question says that if another global financial crisis happens in the near future, which of the following actions, policies are most likely to give immunity to India? Now, this is a conceptual question. We all know that स्टेट सर्विसेज में जो क्वेश्चन पूछे जाते हैं वो बहुत फैक्चुअल पूछे जाते हैं, राइट? कि इंडिया की जीडीपी क्या रही, लेकिन ज्यादातर यूपीएससी के एग्जामिनेशन में ऐसे क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछे जाते. दे आर मोर ऑफ they want to check the conceptual clarity of the students. So this is a very conceptual question. These things cannot be understood when you are going for any book which is present in any market. How can you solve these questions? By reading newspaper, or you are following daily news analysis which is conducted on daily basis on our YouTube channel. So this is a conceptual question. No book can solve you this question, right? So what are the options here? Not depending on short-term foreign borrowing, opening up to more foreign banks, and maintaining full capital account convertibility. If you don't know if you don't know what is the significance of capital account convertibility, what is full capital account convertibility, you will not be able to understand the question, and most probably either you will be going to leave it or you will be going to mark it wrong. The answer to this question is A, one only. Why? Because if India borrows the money from the foreign market, but it borrows for a long period of time, say 20-25 years, so they don't have to pay the principal amount in the short time. They will be doing, it is more of like that आप इसकी यहाँ पर easy monthly installment करवा लोगे. सपोज हमने यहाँ पर 25 साल का लोन ले लिया, उस 25 साल के लोन पर हम अपनी ईएमआई करवा लेंगे, हम उसको बार बार छोटा छोटा अमाउंट में इंटरेस्ट के साथ में देते रहेंगे. What will happen? What will be an impact on our country? Our country will not get drained of resources here, right? This is the major thing which we have to do, because when financial crisis happen, most of the debtors, those who have taken loans, or most of the lenders, they just want to make their situation liquid. They want cash. So that is why they want money, and they take out of the money of that country. So global financial crisis was also happened in year 2008, 2013, and we have also seen it also coincided with the pandemic. Opening up to more foreign banks is not a solution here, because if we are going to open up to more foreign banks, they are going to bring the capital. But this is not going to this is not going to give immunity to our country. And also, if we will maintain full capital account convertibility, the situation could not be more worse here. So all the three options here are incorrect, and A is correct here, one only. Make sure you are always aware that the question is asking it is correct or incorrect. Majority of the students are not able to identify the statement, and irrespective of the fact that they know the answer, but still they corrected wrong. Let's come to question number 2 here. This is a very conceptual as well as factual question, conceptual and factual, because and this can be easily solved from class 11th textbook. If you withdraw 1 lakh rupees in cash from your demand deposit account, what is this demand deposit account? See, there are two types of saving account when it comes to the general public. One is saving account, one is current account, and one is demand deposit account. Saving account is demand deposit account only. There are two types of liability when it comes to general public. One is demand liability and one is time liability. टाइम लाइबिलिटी का मतलब यहाँ पर ये होता है कि एक आम आदमी ने बैंक के ऊपर एक टाइम लाइबिलिटी लगा दी है. अगर उसे मैं और इजी भाषा में समझाऊं तो दिस इज मोर ऑफ लाइक अ फिक्स डिपॉजिट. मतलब आपने अपना पैसा जो है वो 5 साल के लिए बैंक में जमा करवा दिया और बोल दिया कि मैंने फिक्स डिपॉजिट करवा लिया है. उस फिक्स डिपॉजिट पर द गवर्नमेंट विल बी गिविंग यू interest rate at 6% per annum, right? So this is a time liability on the government, time liability on the bank, right? And what is the demand liability? You have 5 lakh rupees. You have 5 lakh rupees in your savings account. This is more of like a demand deposit account. जब आप चाहे उससे पैसा निकाल सकते हो. करंट अकाउंट से भी अगर आप 5 लाख रुपए निकाल लोगे, दिस विल बी कंसिडर्ड एज अ डिमांड डिपॉजिट ओनली. आपने बैंक से डिमांड करा और आपने पैसा विड्रॉ कर लिया, राइट? सो नाउ एट योर बैंक, what will be the immediate effect on aggregate money policy in the economy will be? क्या एकदम से इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा इकोनॉमी पे? देखो, एक यहाँ पर सबसे ज्यादा जो इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है हमारी इकोनॉमी, दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ द हाई पावर्ड मनी. High powered money is that money which RBI creates. Suppose the RBI prints 1 lakh crore rupees. 1 lakh crore rupees. Right? So what will happen? This will be considered as high powered money because this high powered money has the ability to create more money. Why? This 1 lakh crore rupees is distributed in different banks, right? So now this money has been given to banks at a certain interest rate. The bank has more lending capacity now. Now the bank will do what? They will lend further. When they will lend further, it will increase the economic activity in the market. Suppose I took the loan from the bank, suppose 1 crore rupees, and I installed two factories in my, two machines in my factory. Now since I have installed two machines in my factory, the production rate in my factory increases. What will happen? I would like to hire 2 workers. So when I will hire 2 more workers, what will happen? I will be giving them salary. More production is taking place. I will be supplying more goods in the market. Now what we will see? The wheel of the economy is rolling fast now. Economic activity is increasing, right? This happens when high powered money is released into the market. But there we are seeing this money is already in the market. The bank is already holding the money. So it will not leave any impact on the economy or the money supply here, right? Because the money is already held by the bank. No new money is created. The person has already deposited the account, so deposited the money in his account. Now he's just withdrawing it. So there will be no change in the money supply in the economy. So the correct answer is D here. You have to understand these things, like you don't have to go for very high level books. You just have to follow the daily newspaper, follow the NCERT textbook, and I will also tell you few books which you can refer to. With reference to the foreign direct investment in India, which one of the following is considered its major characteristics? There are four options here, and we have to see that what is the correct characteristic. FDI has various characteristics, but out of four, there is only one correct here. So it is the investment through capital instruments, essentially it is the investment through capital instrument essentially in a listed company. That is not correct. It is largely a non-debt creating capital flow. Well, this statement is correct, but I will explain this statement to you in a detailed manner, but let's come to another statement as well. It is the investment which involves debt servicing. You should also know what is debt servicing here. Debt servicing means the company is paying off its debt, or the country is paying off its debt here. So an investment which involves debt servicing, that is not suitable or that is not appropriate when it comes to foreign direct investment in India. UPSC is just trying to make a fool out of you. You don't have to be that fool. Those students who are not able to understand these things, they don't write mains. It is the investment made by foreign institutional investors. This statement until here is correct. But in the government securities, this is a constrained statement. Foreign institutional investors does create FDI, but not only in government securities. So some students do what? They just read this in a haphazard manner that okay, and they just take the answer and they mark they circle the OMR sheet. But the answer is B here. When the foreign direct investment comes into our country, it is counted or accounted in capital receipts of our country, right? And it does not create any debt. It is generally said that if anything is added into our capital receipt, either it is lessening or reducing the assets of the country, or it is increasing the debt, right? How? If we are going to disinvest our company, our country's asset is going to decrease, right? And if we are going to take a loan from World Bank, our liabilities are going to rise here. Both of these things are also accounted in capital receipt as well. But when it comes to foreign direct investment in India, it is a largely non-debt creating capital flow, because whatever the earnings which are earned by a company in India are credited or accounted in current account. Suppose Apple is operating in India, but they are bringing a lot of FDI. Tesla is investing in India. They are bringing a lot of FDI. But whatever the earnings they will be making, they will be sending their money into their own countries also, like United States. The money will be credited out of the current account. That money will be deducted from the current account. That is why it is largely a non-debt. It is not creating any loan on the government, and it is also considered as it is also accounted in capital receipt. This is a answer is B here. Now, how you will learn all these things? If you have read foreign direct investment components in economics, you will be easily able to solve this question. But it is a conceptual question again. I will be discussing 10 to 15 questions here, and majority of the questions which are asked in UPSC prelim. And trust me, I have seen the questions of economics since year 1990. Since then, UPSC is asking question in a conceptual manner. They are not going to ask you that what are the 5-year plans, right? In which 5-year plan this was asked. If they are going to ask such question, that will be only 1 out of 15, not 7 out of 15. So it means you have to bring and you have to attain the conceptual clarity in your studies rather than mugging up the study material which has been given to you, or mugging up the whole book. It is better to understand the things from the root here. Let's come to question number next question. With reference to the international trade of India at present, it's a contemporary question. If you are following current affairs on daily basis, daily news analysis or newspaper, you will be easily able to answer the same question. Now, these types of things, do you think this will be present in Ramesh Singh? Suppose you have bought the recent edition of Ramesh Singh, right? Say edition 201. But the problem is that the author has added the current affairs of last to six to 7 years, that in this budget this was created, in this budget this was created. The major problem which we have which I have witnessed, that the book keeps bulging, book keeps thickening. So what you have to do, you don't have to buy that book in order to solve these questions. You just have to buy a 10 rupees newspaper called The Hindu. You have to read the editorials and you have to understand, and you have to read the economics page as well, page number 12 or 13, whatever it may be. But इन सब चीजों को ही आपको follow करना है, right? Now, India's merchandise export are less than its merchandise imports. Okay, India's imports of iron, steel, chemicals, fertilizers, machinery have decreased in recent years, and India's exports of service and are more than its import of services. India is considered as a champion or a king of the export of software. India is, because we all know that India is considered as one of those countries which has leapt from primary sector to service sector. India has never worked upon the मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर, राइट? ये मिडिल फैक्ट्रीज मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में हमने कभी भी इतना काम नहीं करा है. जिसको ये स्टेटमेंट पता है उसके लिए आधे ऑप्शंस एनीवे ऐसे ही एलिमिनेट हो जाएंगे. Now, since we all know that the third statement is correct here, what I am going to do here, I am going to eliminate those options which does not contain 3. So I am damn sure that A and B is incorrect here. Now what I have to do, I have to see that is statement 4 correct or not correct. India suffers from overall trade or current account deficit. Of course, this statement is correct here. Now the answer will be 1, 3 and 4. This is how you have to do that. But how will you be able to understand that India suffers from overall trade current account deficit? By newspapers. You will not be able to solve these questions on a hunch, or you will not be able, don't be an estimate master here that हाँ मुझे तो बस तुक्के से सवाल करना है. तुक्के से 10 में से 2-3 सवाल ठीक होंगे, बस सारे नहीं होंगे. हमें क्वेश्चन बहुत लॉजिकल वे में जो है वो टैकल करना है यहाँ पे. Let's come to another question. The West Texas Intermediate, sometime found in the news, refers to a grade. Grade of what? Crude oil, bullion, rare earth elements, or uranium. I am 100% sure the students who are reading newspaper on daily basis will be able to answer this question very easily in a click of a tongue. Why I am saying this? Because when the lockdown was enforced, hundreds of articles came on this term called West Texas Intermediate, because the West Texas Intermediate went into the negative territory. The oil was sold at negative prices. It means the person who is going to sell the oil is going to pay you to just purchase the oil, and that is why it was in the news here. So not present in Ramesh Singh, not present in any contemporary book. Why? Because it was a newspaper. By the time it will be printed in book, the question has already been asked. So what is the purpose of the purchasing book here? Let's come to another question. In the context of the Indian economy, non-financial debt includes which of the following? This again is a conceptual as well as a static question. Generally, most of the book does not contain this term. I am 100% sure because I have read that most of these books. But what you have to do, you have to mark a question mark. You have to mark it as a question mark because you are not sure about these questions. The answer is 1, 2, 3 here, but this can be only solved if you know this term, non-financial debt. If you don't know this term, then you can't do nothing. And you can just say that yes, one only, two and one. You can mark anything you want. But the thing is, it is going to be incorrect, except you mark this option. Let's come to another question. This is a topic from international affairs, but still I added into it so that just so that I can just give you a hint what type of questions have been asked in UPSC prelims. In India, why are some nuclear reactors kept IA, International Atomic Energy Agency safeguard? Generally, UPSC gives full form of these acronyms, but this time I was shocked कि ऐसा नहीं हुआ. So बहुत से स्टूडेंट्स को समझ नहीं आ रहा कि ये क्या चीज है. 2018 में इंटरनेशनल एटॉमिक एनर्जी एजेंसी से रिलेटेड एक और क्वेश्चन पूछा गया था. अब बहुत से लोग क्या करते हैं, जैसे ही उनका सिलेबस खत्म हुआ, लेट्स गो फॉर टेस्ट सीरीज. But make sure that you are also following the test series of the UPSC. I am talking about past year questions. At least solve 5 to 6 year past year questions so that you are able to understand what type of questions have been asked. What is the trend here, right? So in a month or two, we are also going to come up with a booklet which contains a whole analysis of the all past year 6 7 year question, so that you are able to understand the trend of the UPSC. And also I will be giving you a detailed explanation that why this question have been asked, right? So answer is very simple here, that some are operated by foreign enterprises and others are operated by domestic enterprises. This is the answer here. Nuclear reactors we are talking about, right? With reference to trade-related investment measure, which of the following statement is correct? Again, a topic which has been asked from a static part, but this static part comes under WTO, international trade, right? If you have understood what is WTO, what is trade-related investment measures, what is trade-related intellectual property, what is safeguard mechanism, you can easily eliminate the options here, and then you can easily get the answer here, right? Now, if the RBI decides to adopt an expansionist monetary policy, again, if you have understood the basics of the monetary policy, that how economy works, you will be easily able to answer this question. We all know that if they are expanding the economy, like the currently RBI has done what? They have reduce the repo rate by more than 200 basis points. When I'm saying 200 basis points, I mean 2% here. When the lockdown was in force, the RBI was giving loans to the commercial bank at 6%, right? But since the economy was economy was very low, the GDP was very low, what the RBI did to expand the money supply in the market, they cut down the interest rate. When they have cut down the interest rate, the bank will be easily able to lend the money as well as to take the money from the RBI at a cheaper interest rate. When the interest rate is cheaper, the bank will be taking more money. When the bank have more money, they will be lending more money. This will increase the money supply in the market. So what they will be doing if they adopt an what इसमें लिखा हुआ है, what they would not do, if they will not increase the marginal standing facility rate, because if they do that marginal standing facility rate, if they will do that, the bank will become reluctant to take the loan here, right? They will cut the bank rate as well as repo rate. If the repo rate will come down, what will happen? Bank will take more money because they are getting the loan at a cheaper interest rate. They are also cutting and optimizing the SLR. SLR. What is SLR? It is the money, it is the percentage of the money which a particular bank needs to invest into the government securities. So suppose I have 1,000 rupees and I am a bank here called RBS, Royal Bank Sundaram, kuch bhi bol lo, and I have to take what? I have to take 18 rupees out of it and I have to deposit into the government securities. Right, G6 also we say, and suppose I have to also take 4 rupees as well, which I have to deposit as a CRR, cash reserve ratio. If cash reserve ratio increases, the bank will have to deposit more money in the mandate which has been created by the RBI. So the bank will have less money to lend further. But if the RBI lessens the SLR as well as the CRR, what will happen? The bank will have more money to lend. So if the bank cuts the repo rate, if the bank cut the repo rate and the bank rate, the bank will have more funds now. Bank can lend further. So they have asked what it would not do. They will never increase the marginal standing facility rate if they want to adopt an expansionist monetary policy. The answer is very simple, B, 2 only. With reference to the Indian economy after 1991 economic liberalization, consider the following statements. Worker productivity increased in urban areas while it decreased in rural areas. Now, they are asking question you in a very wholesome manner. This is a static part. So the one cannot remember such data for a long period of time, that rupee per worker at 2004 price. Generally, when you are facing or tackling these questions, mark a question mark again and come to these questions later on. Because ऐसे क्वेश्चन अगर शुरुआत में करोगे, you are just trying to hit the bouncer and you will be going to catch out. Don't do that, क्योंकि it will take you for at least 3 to 5 minutes अगर आप सोचने बैठोगे. तो ये क्वेश्चन सबसे आखिर में करने चाहिए. When the paper came out and after the paper, मैंने जब इकोनॉमिक्स के क्वेश्चन पढ़ा था, one of my student called me that there are some questions which I was not able to solve, and they were not also covered by in my course as well. So I have already told them that what to do when you are facing such questions. You just have to ignore them because you cannot solve every question. 200 मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन होता है, 200 मार्क्स का पेपर होता है, बट हमें अराउंड 105 ही चाहिए होते हैं, राइट? So it means UPSC has already indicated you that you don't have to be a master in everything. Generally ऐसे क्वेश्चन सिर्फ इंटेलिजेंट गेसिंग से ही सॉल्व करे जा सकते हैं, unless you have a very remarkable memory. Otherwise ऐसे क्वेश्चन जल्दी से सॉल्व नहीं करे जा सकते हैं. Let's come to another question here. In terms of short-term credit delivery to the agriculture sector, district central cooperative banks. To be honest, I have never heard district central cooperative banks before I have seen this question paper. I am going to be very honest here. Deliver more credit in comparison to scheduled commercial bank and regional rural bank. Now let's understand, this is a district central and a cooperative bank. I have heard about cooperative bank and I know what the term district means. Cooperative banks are those banks which are created by normal people. They pool their own saving and they take the loan out of it. So this is a cooperative bank. कुछ लोग आपस में आके मिलते हैं, अपने पैसे मिलाते हैं और उसी में से ही लोन ले लेते हैं. यही होता है कोऑपरेटिव बैंक. अब एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, सपोज एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट है यहाँ पर इलाहाबाद. इस इलाहाबाद में कितने लोग जो हैं वो पैसा बना के निकाल लेंगे. अगर ये लोग इतना पैसा भी जोड़ लेते हैं कि क्या ये स्केड्यूल्ड कमर्शियल बैंक से ज्यादा लोन दे सकते हैं. स्केड्यूल्ड कमर्शियल बैंक वो बैंक होते हैं जैसे कि HDFC, जैसे कि ICICI. ऐसा कोई लोन दे सकता है डिस्ट्रिक्ट सेंट्रल कोऑपरेटिव बैंक? दिस स्टेटमेंट इज ब्लेटेंटली रॉन्ग है. जिसको भी मतलब जनरली ये बुक में आपको कहीं नहीं मिलेगा. रमेश सिंह पढ़ लो, नहीं मिलेगा. आप संजीव वर्मा पढ़ लो, बट नहीं मिलेगा. So one of the most important of the DCCB, District Central Cooperative Bank, is provided to primary agriculture credit society. Well, this statement is correct here, but this is more of a general in nature, very general है nature में. और अगर ये जो है UPSC is trying to make a fool out of you again. If you don't know what is the scheduled commercial bank, what is the regional rural bank, you will not be able to solve the question. तो banking classification के ऊपर ये question फिर से आ गया. Not a current affair question, a conceptual question, right? So यही चीजें आपको समझनी है यहाँ पर. What is the importance of the term interest coverage ratio? Interest coverage ratio क्या चीज होती है ये? Now let's understand these things. When the lockdown was in force, many of the farms were not able to service their debt. They were not able to pay off their liabilities. And that is the phenomenon from where this term has been brought in this question paper. So in September, October, I still remember I was teaching some of my students on a different platform, and this news appeared in the newspaper. This term appeared in the newspaper on that very day, and some of the students asked me that what is interest coverage ratio. So The main purpose of conducting this session is to make you aware that you don't have to go for 2 to 3 books in order to solve questions like these, because the questions are very conceptual in nature, and if they are static, then the basic textbooks are different. Now I'm going to talk about textbooks here. First textbook which you have to refer is to NCERT. If you don't know the basics of the NCERT, then you will not be able to solve the questions like expansionist monetary policy, what will be the impact of the money supply in the economy if you withdraw 1 lakh rupees. You will never be able to solve these questions because ये question directly NCERT से पूछे गए हैं. Secondly, आपको NCERT की दूसरी बुक आती है Indian Economic Development, a green color book which is very important as well. Third, if you want to buy a book, either you can buy JB's IS economy book. This is an option for you, or you can buy Sanjeev Verma book. Sanjeev Verma book. Sanjeev Verma sir is not anymore with us, but still his book is still alive. His words are still alive, and you can refer to this book. This book is very good, and if you will read this book, you will be able to solve majority of the question, and your conceptual clarity will increase day by day if you keep reading this book. Not only by purchasing this book, your conceptual clarity will increase automatically. You have to read that book as well. So interest coverage ratio क्या चीज है, ये न्यूज़पेपर में बहुत बार अपीयर हुआ है, बट प्रॉब्लम ये है कि बच्चे न्यूज़पेपर में टर्म को पढ़ने के बावजूद जो है वो यहाँ पर सर्च नहीं करते हैं. So what you have to do, you have to be very alert, or you can just attend the Jatin sir's daily news analysis. जतिन सर ने बहुत बिगाड़ रखा है, सारी चीजें आपको पढ़ा कर दे देते हैं, बस थोड़ा थोड़ा आपको भी खुद पढ़ना चाहिए, राइट? So very easy question. It helps in understanding the present risk of a firm that a bank is that risk of a firm that a bank is going to give loan to. Suppose एक बैंक मुझे लोन देना चाहता है, तो वो लोन मुझे देखेगा तो मेरा वो देखेगा इंटरेस्ट कवरेज रेशो. तो वो इंटरेस्ट कवरेज रेशो से ये पता चल जाता है कि क्या मैं उस लोन को चुका पाऊंगा या नहीं चुका पाऊंगा. So higher the borrowing firm level of interest, the worse is its ability. No, this statement has been interchanged. The higher a borrowing firm's level of interest coverage ratio, इसका मतलब ये है they have the more ability. They are in a position that they can service your debt. अगर आपकी फर्म का इंटरेस्ट कवरेज रेशियो हाई है तो इट मींस यू कैन सर्विस योर डेट हियर. सर्विस योर डेट का मतलब है यू कैन पे योर लाइबिलिटीज. It helps in evaluating the emerging risk of a firm that a bank is going to give loan to. बिल्कुल सही है. दोनों स्टेटमेंट में आप देखोगे कि यहाँ तक तो प्रेजेंट रिस्क से लेकर ये तक ये दोनों सारी स्टेटमेंट सही हैं. बैंक इज गिविंग गोइंग टू लोन, बैंक इज गोइंग टू लोन गिव लोन टू. बस ये चीजें थोड़ी है, ये चीजें आपको न्यूज़पेपर से ऑटोमेटिकली मिल जाएंगी अगर आप डेली बेसिस पर फॉलो कर रहे हो. Which of the following factors policies are affecting or were affecting the price of rice in India in the recent past? Very easy question, provided you are following the current affairs. You have understood what do you understand by MSP, because MSP is a static topic, but MSP के साथ में गवर्नमेंट ट्रेडिंग, स्टॉक पाइलिंग और सब्सिडीज ये जब जुड़ जाता है ये करंट अफेयर और कंसेप्चुअल हो जाता है. अगर MSP आएगा तो प्राइस में जरूर चेंजेस होते रहेंगे. गवर्नमेंट ट्रेडिंग जनरली व्हाट हैपेंस, अगर suppose there is a drought here, so what the government will do, they will take out of their surplus stock from the go downs and they will sell into the market, into the मंडी, जिससे कि चावल की कमी ना हो, कोई वो ना आ जाए यहाँ पर, राइट, भुखमरी ना मच जाए, तो ये चीजें फैमाइन ना आ जाए. तो इसलिए गवर्नमेंट भी यहाँ पर राइस को ट्रेड करती है विद प्राइवेट ट्रेडर. गवर्नमेंट सेल्स द राइस नॉट एट एमएसपी, नॉट एट सेंट्रल इशू प्राइस, एट द मार्केट प्राइस. व्हेन ड्रॉट आ जाता है मार्केट में तो वो प्राइवेट ट्रेडर्स को मार्केट प्राइस पे बेचती है. गवर्नमेंट स्टॉक पाइल, यस, एमएसपी से लेकर वो स्टॉक पाइल कर लेती है. और कंज्यूमर सब्सिडीज आर ऑल्सो गिवन, जैसे कि सेंट्रल इशू प्राइस. दिस इज द प्राइस एट विच द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट provides food grains to the poor people. So all of these conditions affect the price of the rice in India. Yes, the answer is D here. The very easy question. Again, a question from economics as well as international affairs. The value of Indo-Sri Lanka trade has consistently increased in the last decade. बहुत easy चीज है वैसे. When just make sure we are reading this question in a very literal manner. Consistently increase. It means like this. It means the graph is not going to come down here. This means श्रीलंका की और इंडिया की ट्रेड ऐसे इंक्रीज हुई है. This never happens. Exceptions are always there, but 99.99% I can say that no economy, no trade grows like this, right? So if you are able to understand, then you will be easily able to eliminate these two options, क्योंकि दोनों में 1 है. बचा 2 और 3 only. इसमें इनमें से एक स्टेटमेंट करेक्ट है. In the last 5 years, Nepal has been the largest trading partner of India in South Asia. Well, this statement is of course incorrect. It is not Nepal. It is not China, because China is not in South Asia. China is in East Asia. Please remember these things. Right? तो ये सारी चीजें अगर ध्यान होंगी तभी you will be able to answer the question. Textile and textile article constitute an important item of trade between India and Bangladesh. We all know that जब बांग्लादेश को इंडिपेंडेंस मिला था 1971 में, वहां पर टेक्सटाइल आर्टिकल इसलिए हमारे बीच में इतना ट्रेड इंपॉर्टेंट भी रहता है क्योंकि हमारी कंट्री में बांग्लादेशी आर्टिकल्स बहुत बेचे जाते हैं और हमारी कंट्री में इंपोर्ट ड्यूटी कॉटन इनका प्राइस बहुत ज्यादा है. एंड बांग्लादेश इंपोर्ट्स अ लॉट ऑफ कॉटन फ्रॉम आउटसाइड एंड they have a very flexible policy because they have created such an environment कि वहां पर कोई ड्यूटी नहीं लगाई जा रही है, राइट? तो इसलिए एंड ऑल्सो इट इज सेड दैट 75% ऑफ द एरिया जो जूट प्रोड्यूसिंग एरिया था बंगाल का, वो बांग्लादेश की तरफ चला गया था इंडिपेंडेंस के समय में. दैट इज वाई बांग्लादेश यहाँ पर टेक्सटाइल ये आर्टिकल्स इंडिया और बांग्लादेश में बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. बट ये अगेन आपको न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ना होगा, देन ओनली यू विल बी एबल टू आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन, राइट? अदरवाइज आप इसको नहीं कर पाओगे. Now, the weightage of the food in CPI is higher than the WPI. Of course, again a static part. न्यूज़पेपर में ऐसी चीजें आती हैं, मैं मना नहीं करूंगा क्योंकि कंज्यूमर प्राइस इंडेक्स 5% पे है, 6% पे है, ये तो न्यूज़पेपर में हमेशा रिपोर्ट आती है. बट आप कितना ये पढ़ रहे हो कि सीपीआई में वेटेज ज्यादा है या नहीं है, ये तो आपको तब, क्योंकि मेजोरिटी ऑफ द स्टूडेंट जस्ट रीड हेडलाइन, दे डोंट रीड व्हाट इज बिटवीन द लाइन, राइट? So you have to also understand these things. The WPI does not capture changes in the prices of the services where CPI does. Reserve Bank of India has now adopted the WPI as its key measure of inflation and to decide on changing the key policy rate. Well, yes, WPI does not cover services because nobody takes services in wholesale, right? Very easy to understand, but if you haven't read, you will not be able to solve the question. But right, ये सारी चीजें, CPI is published monthly whereas WPI is published fortnight, यानी कि every 15 days. These are explained in newspaper and they are also present in books, right? तो अगर आप रमेश सिंह पढ़ोगे वहां पर इजीली आपको ये सारी चीजें मिल जाएंगी. जतिन वर्मा की इकोनॉमिक्स बुक्स पढ़ोगे, जो बुकलेट का सेट है, या बुकलेट खरीद सकते हो या सेट खरीद सकते हो, दैट इज ऑल अपॉन यू. बट ये सारी चीजें आपको वहां पर मिल जाएंगी. ऑल द स्टेटमेंट्स आर करेक्ट है. Now, coming to the last question, commercial paper क्या होता है, certificate deposit क्या होता है? These all are the banking terms कि commercial paper क्या है. अगर आपने money and banking का chapter पढ़ा है किसी भी advanced book से, you will be easily able to solve these questions. So the major purpose of conducting this session is to make you aware that you don't have to go for 3-4 books. You are perfect. Why I'm saying perfect? Because अगर आप ये न्यूज़पेपर फॉलो करते हो, न्यूज़पेपर एंड डीएनए, सिर्फ डीएनए नहीं फॉलो करना है सर का, ठीक है? डीएनए सर ने पढ़ा दिया, ठीक है, सर के पढ़ाने से पहले खुद पढ़ लो न्यूज़पेपर, राइट? या सर के डीएनए के बाद न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ लो. न्यूज़पेपर शुड नॉट बी स्किप्ड हियर, राइट? Again, NCRTs, very important. If you are not following NCRTs, then I don't know where you will be in your prelims examination, right? तो ऐसे नहीं करना है, ठीक है? Third, आई एम जस्ट गोइंग टू गिव यू अ चॉइस है, या तो जेबीज आईएएस की जो इकोनॉमिक्स बुक आती है उसको रेफर कर सकते हो, या फिर आप यहाँ पर रमेश सिंह नहीं, यहाँ पर आप संजीव वर्मा बुक ले सकते हो, ये आपके लिए सफिशिएंट होगा इकोनॉमिक्स के लिए। एंड करंट अफेयर मैगजीन, ऑफ कोर्स यू हैव टू फॉलो दैट अपार्ट फ्रॉम द न्यूज़पेपर। जो जेबीज आईएएस की करंट अफेयर मैगजीन आती है वो आप फॉलो कर सकते हो। उससे बस ये होगा कि आप करंट अफेयर के साथ ओरिएंटेड रहोगे, जो भी न्यूज़पेपर में पढ़ा है वो रिवाइज होता चला जाएगा, मोर ऑफ लाइक अ रिवर्स लर्निंग, सारी चीजें क्लियर होती चली जाएंगी। तो ये सारी चीजें आपके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है। न्यूज़पेपर, आई नो माई पेन टैबलेट इज नॉट वर्किंग प्रॉपरली, बट आई एम गोइंग टू अगेन remind you four important things: newspaper and DNA, DNA and newspaper, vice versa. Again, NCRTs, Indian Economic Development, class 11th, Microeconomics and Macroeconomics. These three books you have to refer from NCRT. Third, Sanjeev Verma और JB's IS Economics book. And fourth, JB's IS की मैगजीन। ये चार चीजें अगर आप पढ़ लेते हो, अगर इकोनॉमिक्स में 15 से 16 क्वेश्चन भी आते हैं, आई एम 100% श्योर दैट आप एटलीस्ट यहाँ पर 9 क्वेश्चन सही करके आओगे आउट ऑफ 15, राइट। और ये इतना रेशो तब है जब आप यहाँ पर कोई टेस्ट सीरीज नहीं कर रहे हो, राइट। बस ये चीज ध्यान रख लेना, टेस्ट सीरीज भी करनी है आगे जाकर। ऑलरेडी वी हैव डिफरेंट फ्री प्रोबोनो इनिशिएटिव्स, यू कैन गो फॉर दीज एज वेल। बट मैं आपको ये बता रहा हूँ कि अगर ये चीजें करोगे, यू विल बी इजिली एबल टू सॉल्व दीज क्वेश्चन इन अ वेरी एफिशिएंट मैनर। जरूरी भी नहीं है कि ज्यादा सर पकड़ना पड़ेगा पेपर में, आराम से क्वेश्चन आंसर कर पाओ, राइट। So thank you everyone, and make sure you follow all these steps in order to solve the question paper. Thank you.